Chautauqua exchange with the Soviet Union took place, I think, in 1986. And we went to Riga, Latvia, and Jurmala for a kind of a Chautauqua exchange program. We were held hostage, though, before we went there, because Danilov was taken prisoner, the reporter Danilov, in Moscow. And until he was released, or they negotiated a release for him, the State Department kept us in the United States for 3 or 4 days, as I recall, in Washington. Finally, we were allowed to go over there. But that was I think the first time a group of people went into Latvia. At that time, it was a kind of a walled-off.
You weren't allowed.
You weren't allowed, yeah. I think this was in '86, I'm pretty sure. Then in '87, a Soviet exchange group came to Chautauqua, and many of us took in Soviets into our house for that whole week. I remember we had one man who was a PhD in Pacific Rim economics, and his partner, and he spoke very good English. His partner was a machinist, but he was a member of the Supreme Soviet, so he was an important person. My wife used to tell them in the morning that if they didn't get up to get to the program on time, the KGB would come to get them. I'm not so sure how true that was, but I think there probably was some KGB people here. And then I think it was the following year that they had the Soviet-American exchange in Pittsburgh that you had mentioned earlier. So that was a great experiment, I think. And some people credit that exchange from from Chautauqua to the Soviet Union as a very important point in our Soviet or Russian-American relations.
And everybody behaved on the American side, I hope.
Yes, yes.
No drunken uncles.
And it was a very a great experience for all of us.